Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's action figure showcase, I'm going to take a look at a bunch of golden era tag teams. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I'm going to take a look at a lot of golden era tag teams. For me, I grew up in the Attitude Era. I was born in 1992. The Attitude Era was what I watched live, but I used to watch most of my wrestling because I was little, so I wasn't staying up late. Typically watching Monday Night Wars as they folded out. I watched a lot of pay-per-views on VHS. I would go to Premiere Video. I'd go to Family Video. I went to Blockbuster, but not as much for wrestling. That was typically like other stuff. So I watched a lot of wrestling just on videotape, and obviously the Attitude Era stuff would come out monthly, but the Golden Era stuff, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, all of that was what I really grew up like. What got me into wrestling. That was my bread and butter as a kid. And one of my favorite things was always the tag teams. I loved all of the stables. I loved the tag teams. I always liked, like in the Ruthless Aggression era, we got a lot of people just mismatched together that weren't necessarily a tag team. They were two guys just put together, and I just don't like that as much. When teams have like an actual team name, and they had a manager, they had matching attire, stuff like that. I always thought that was really cool. And then collecting action figures of tag teams, I've always really enjoyed team stables, whatever. So I did want to look at a bunch of teams that I have in my collection. There's a bunch of customs in here, some fix-ups, but I really just wanted to take a look. And I don't really do a lot of Golden Era stuff. I don't do a lot of customs from that time frame, so I figured today would be a good opportunity to do that. So let's get into it. Obviously, these guys have been chilling here, and of course I talk about matching attires and everything, and these guys do not have that at all. Akeem and Big Boss Man, I believe they were managed by Slick, and they were known as the Twin Towers. And I remember these guys, they wrestled the Rockers at one of the WrestleManias. It's really hard for me to remember the undercard stuff for the old WrestleManias, but Akeem, this figure was the Legends figure, and I picked it up I actually got this one on eBay. It was loose. You can see here, his foot has been bitten off by something, so hardly in the best condition, but we only got him, the Akeem African Dream version. And then we've gotten this Big Boss Man. I think it was re-released. I don't remember what set it was, but I think this is one of Mattel's best figures that they have done. I love all the sculpting, the body. Like, I think that is a almost perfect figure. I absolutely love that Boss Man. But these guys teamed up, two gigantic dudes, which I've talked about before. I love the big figures. I think they do them really well. I think Mattel does a lot of justice to those bigger characters. And the Twin Towers, like, I don't know, they weren't all that important or relevant, but they were a cool team in my opinion, because like, who doesn't love just two giant dudes? Next up, we have Money Inc. And Money Inc. was a tag team, but Ted DiBiase used to have his whole stable of guys. I didn't want to do like everyone that he kind of managed, but these guys, I hated them as a kid. I hated IRS, and they were great heels. The $1 Million Man was a fantastic heel. People still kind of like rip off that gimmick because he was fantastic at what he did. Figure wise, I think the $1 Million Man looks really nice. I did put a different head on him, I believe, than what we originally got with the release. And then the IRS is a really, really nice figure. I love everything from the waist up. I like the unique torso mold. I like the arm mold, or the t-shirt mold that they gave him. I love the suspenders, like everything. I really, really like the figure, but they made him really, really tall because they used the same suited legs. Like, they only had a couple different suited legs. I'm pretty sure he has the same legs as Kane. I'm not positive to like putting them right next to each other, but I know he was not this much taller than the $1 Million Man, and I used to think it was just they made $1 Million Man too short, but IRS is a little too tall. That does kind of kill it a little bit, but still, having Money Inc. and having really nice elites of them is always a plus. Next up, we have the Hart Foundation, and this is from Elite 43, I believe. I always thought these were cool because we get Bret Hart before he broke off and was doing his singles, and the Hart Foundation, when I think about the golden era, I think about tag teams. I always think about these guys because it was before Bret Hart broke out, and when I think of the like I said, with the uniformity, with attire, having a team name like the Hart Foundation is a classic tag team. We are going to be getting ultimates of them in the Coliseum line, and I've seen they keep pushing back the release date or the pre-order date for the Roddy Piper and I think it's George Animal Steel that he's with. So I don't know what's going on there. But I really like the Coliseum line. I think it's really cool. I'm glad we're getting ultimates of those guys. I'm excited for the ultimates of these guys. I do have, I think this is one of the better Bret head scans, so I haven't messed with this figure at all. The Anvil, the head scan that came with him was okay, but it was really small, and Anvil is just like a big, barrel chested dude in general, so he does have an arm swap. The arms that came on him were the Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, or they were the Eric Rowan arms, so they were real big, really long, and I wanted to have him to have more of the kind of stocky look. So he does have some Luke Harper biceps, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember exactly what the formula was for the arms, but changed his arms, gave him a head scan from a classic Superstars figure. I think the head scan is it's a little big, but I think it looks way better. They have the dry brush in the beard, so that's really nice. But overall, still two figures I really, really like. Another cool tag team from back in the day, we've got the British Bulldogs, and we did get, so the Elite, I think it's 89 Chase was this British Bulldog, which I was surprised we got. I think there's a 0%, we'll say 1% chance we ever get a Dynamite Kid in the Mattel line, but it was cool that they did give us the Davy Boy, get that kind of young baby face looking Davy Boy. Obviously, we've got the Union Jack and everything. I think it's a really, really nice figure, but we're not going to get Dynamite Kids. So I got a head scan from House 14, and I did swap out the boots. So with the tall boots, I think Dynamite was too tall. He was a short, stocky guy, built much like Benoit. So I do have, I got to get the shirt off so I can kind of show you guys a little better, but the boots aren't accurate. I need to paint those. I'll get around to it sometime, but for me, it was a quick fix-up. It worked. They were just from it was Arn Anderson or Tully Blanchard, one of the two. I can't remember exactly, but other than that, still kept the legs for the British Bulldog so that they matched. Gave him some John Cena arms and I think it was the Adrian Neville torso. It was the same torso as DDP, but in that pale skin tone. And then the heads from House 14, painted that up. So I really wanted the British Bulldogs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about them. Let's keep moving on. Next up are the Powers of Pain, and these guys, really, I don't have a lot of memory of them, from my childhood watching them. When I got older, I watched through all the WrestleManias, and I just enjoyed these massive powerhouse teams, and that's exactly what these guys were. Barbarian was Warlord, they both are big, but Warlord was just so gigantic, and it was almost unnecessarily large. How big he was. If you took Batista and then inflated him like a balloon, that was Warlord. And we won't get into the semantics of why he might have looked like that, but figure-wise, really cool. We got him, and we got him in his singles release. I don't know if we're ever going to get Barbarian. He was in that concussion lawsuit, I believe, which is kind of one thing that held up a lot of figures, a lot of guys. But as far as the custom, all I did was take an extra Warlord, and I swapped on a different torso. It might have been the tan torso from the Elite Connor from the like Elite 47, I think it was, with the Ascension. And then I gave him some boots to make him a little bit shorter because he wasn't quite as tall as the Warlord. But I do have this. It's a Jack's head. I have some decals I'm going to use, throw on him, so he's got the face paint that he's supposed to. But just two big dudes slapping meat before slapping meat was cool. Next up, we have the Legends Rockers, and these are some of the coolest looking figures that I own. I love these. I got them so cheap. Years ago, I don't remember what hurricane it was. A hurricane destroyed Ringside's warehouse, and they had a bunch of their stock that they couldn't sell in the box anymore. And they just I think they just had to get rid of it. And it was different then, like things were a little bit cheaper years ago. This was right when I started like getting into the Mattel line, and I didn't know like what pricing was like. I started with Jakks, so a lot of Jakks were like $7.99, $8.99. And these Rockers, I think I picked them up for like $12.99 or $13.99 on Ringside's website, which if you know anything about these figures, you know you are not going to find them for that price anywhere near that price, especially the Marty Jannetty, anywhere on the secondary market. So these are, they're from the Legends line. There was a lot of stuff on there. They had like the Flash, Rey Mysterio, just a lot of stuff from then that was so cheap, and I'm not the only one that regrets passing on them, but I think these figures are fantastic. If you know anything about Marty Jannetty, you know we'll probably never get a figure of him from Mattel, or I don't even know if anyone else is going to take a shot at Marty, because he does some, he makes some interesting life choices, but I'll save that for another day. I love the shirts that they came with. These cloth shirts are fantastic. Love the yellow attire, like it all looks really good. These guys are just very flashy, very cool. I would think like these would be perfect candidates for the greatest hits line if we got that possibility. But like I said, don't think that's going to happen. 3XR Studio and Clarky Collector have just done a Marty Jannetty scan, and I'll probably make a few different Marty Jannettis because he still had a lot of really cool looking attires after he became a singles wrestler, but for various reasons, he never really amounted to much, especially the way Shawn Michaels. It's going to be a running joke for the end of time that there's always a Marty Jannetty in a tag team. But anyway, I love these figures. I'm glad that these were ones that I did pick up from that time, but I still have a little bit of regret about some of those that I passed on. Next up are the Killer Bees, and these guys, these head skins are from the Jakks Classic Superstars. I think we got a couple 2-packs of them. One, like they started out wearing masks. I think they started out, I really don't remember these guys very well, but I feel like they're kind of like cult favorites now. They have like their following of people that really want Killer Bees figures. So we've got Jumpin' Jim Brunzell and B. Brian Blair, the Killer Bees. This custom shirt, I think I got it in a lot. I have no clue where it came from. Just some random lot of figures. These guys, so when I was looking up reference pictures, they used to wear Nikes. Like, they used to just wear Nike shoes, and they would wear their Nike shoes with high, like, black and yellow socks. And I think 3XR Studio did some customs of them with that look. I just kind of based these off of the Jakks figures, so I might get around to that because it looks really cool and it's very unique for the time, I feel like. But then the tights were just like the yellow and black lines. I did get some decals from Curb Stomp. I'm gonna redo the tights. I'm not happy with my line work. I got done and was like, what the hell is this? So gonna redo these. But overall, like, they were kind of one of those, like, with Jakks Classic Superstars line, they like got really deep into the like older rosters, the older characters, and I feel like that is something Mattel hasn't really done yet because they haven't like reached a point in the line where they have to dig as deep. Like, we obviously get some really deep cuts, we get some cool stuff. We're gonna get that Sultan figure. I'm so excited for that Sultan figure. But stuff like that I love, and Jakks really did that well, and I'm excited that I got to use these head scans for these customs because besides the line work I told you I don't like, I'm really happy with how these look. Next up are the Nasty Boys, and as a kid, I really liked these guys. When I got older and went back and watched, I was kind of like, oh man, I don't know about this. And I really grew up thinking just like I thought they were cool. I don't know. I thought they were really cool. I thought they looked cool. I liked Jimmy Hart with them, and he had his like Nasty Boys suit that he wore. That's what we needed. With Nasty Boys, Jimmy Hart. We needed Jimmy Hart to just go with all of these teams that he has managed. That, like, if we could just get like an Ultimate Edition Jimmy Hart with like 5 different suit looks, and you could just swap out the arms and the coat, something like that. Like, I would die for that. Anyway, with these Nasty Boys, the rubber coats they get are like, I don't really have an issue with them. I'm not doing a lot of posing around with the Nasty Boys. The chain on it, like, I don't think soft goods really would have been worth it with these guys, but these figures I think are really, really nice. The legs don't move well. They're on ratchet joints, and the articulation isn't great, but like I said, I'm not doing a ton of posing around with the Nasty Boys, so at the end of the day, it doesn't kill me. These figures were very nostalgic for me. I had the classic superstars of these guys, but the Brian Knobbs figure was the normal Nasty Boy figure, and then the Jerry Sag figure it came with the coat. And Jax did this where you would get like the entrance attire for one guy, and then you would get the ring attire for the other, and then like they go together. Like, I'm pretty sure they came in the same series, but you would have had to buy like one of each or 2 of each, and then swap heads to get the like full entrance and ring gear, which that always, like, I didn't customize as a kid, so that always really bothered me. So I was excited to get these in the Mattel line. Brian Knobbs, I think it was him, has a wrestling school. I live in Kansas. He has a wrestling school like somewhere around here, or he used to. At one point in life, I was like, yeah, I want to go try out wrestling. Never even like put that into action, but Brian Knobbs has some wrestling school that I'm pretty sure is around here. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to say about these guys, so I got one more tag team and then we're going to get out of here. Last tag team we've got here is Power and Glory, and I think these guys are also managed by Slick. I forget, like I said, there's a lot of managers, a lot of stables, a lot of managers manage like multiple tag teams, which I always thought was really cool. I really miss that. But Power and Glory, Paul Roma, and Hercules were another one of those just like big bruising tag teams. They didn't do a lot, but you know, they were those, you can't have David without Goliath, and Paul Roma wasn't a huge guy, but he was still, I mean, relatively speaking, I feel like he was a small dude. Hercules was gigantic, like Powers of Pain, the Twin Towers, just huge tag teams. But anyway, as far as customs go, this is so I got these shirts from Threadhead, I believe. Got the cutoffs here, and then the heads are both from Head Gimmicks, and I think these are both pretty good scans. For customs, I've seen people use Chris Masters for Roma, which I actually thought was pretty good. And then I've seen a lot of people use Rusev for Hercules, and I did consider that for both. And you can definitely see how Rusev would work for this Hercules figure. He was just a gigantic guy. I do want to make him in his like singles run, but for him I used these. What I'm trying to think. I think these are some Lex Luger thighs. The upper from like a Hulk Hogan, maybe the arms too are Hulk Hogan, and then I can't remember exactly where the calves are, but these legs aren't great, so like he wobbles a lot. Painted the boots up red, the foot and the heels, and then for Hercules, he's got the John Cena upper, and then these are some, I think, Magnum TA legs. I had some spares of those, tall boots, but I just, a tag team I don't have a lot of memory of specifically, but I thought it was really cool going back. Like, these are some of those deep cut characters, side characters that I don't think we're going to get from Mattel. I think Hercules was also in that concussion lawsuit. I don't remember exactly. And like, I watched the thing about Paul Roman. He like got himself kicked out of wrestling by going into business for himself. But again, that's another story. Not really my thing to talk about. Wrestling history, wrestling, not conspiracies. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. That is going to wrap everything up for today's showcase. I'm going to be getting back into the Ruthless Aggression. I was doing a bunch of parts of those, and I think I've got like 3 or 4 lined up that I'm planning to do. So if you're a fan of the Ruthless Aggression era, these next few weeks are definitely going to be for you. Other than that, if you want to go check out some more of the showcases, I have plenty up on the channel. If you have any requests, let me know. I will gladly go through anything you guys would like to. Please like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate it. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.